get this question a lot from people in my Facebook group. And it's a great question, especially if you've never been to marriage counseling before. And here's the question: what should we be focusing on in marriage counseling? So that's a great question, and we're just going to talk a little bit about that. My opinion, anyway, having been through marriage counseling myself and then now being a coach. I'm going to share some things to think about after this break, so stay tuned. All right, so if you're in the middle of marriage counseling right now, first of all, great. I recommend it so much. It really helped my husband and I communicate after the affair. Emotions were running high. It was really hard for us to hear each other and respond in a way that was healthy, the healthy way, right? So having that marriage counselor was really important. And there's been some question. I've had people post in the group, and someone asked on a recent Facebook Live about, what should we be focusing on? And they asked that question because basically their counselor had started really just kind of jumped right into asking her to evaluate her own behavior and make changes, and asking her to jump right into forgiveness, and asking her to jump right into trying to empathize and understand where her husband was coming from. And she really didn't get a lot of time to process. So I'm going to share some of the things I shared with my Facebook Live group, because I think everyone needs to understand the purpose of counseling and that you really do have a voice in your own healing process. So first and foremost, I think it's really important you find the right counselor for you. Okay? If both you and your husband are not fully satisfied with the counselor you're seeing, find a different counselor. It's that simple, okay? I know it seems weird, but counselors understand this, okay? Now, if you think if it's just one of you that's uncomfortable with the counselor, maybe explore why that is. In the situation that I just described, where, a husband is being validated and he's the one who had the affair, and yet the wife is being asked to make changes and focus on things she's not ready to focus on yet. That's something that I would encourage. If you're in that situation, speak up. Go to the counseling session and say, listen, I understand that healing is going to take both of us. I do understand I have a role to play in this. I do get that I need to examine my past behaviors and my actions. But right now, I am traumatized. I am devastated. And right now, I just need my husband to understand what I'm going through. I think that's where I need to start. And if I feel like I'm getting that understanding from him, then I can take a step back after I've healed a little bit and then start doing that hard work on me. We are only ready to hear what we're ready to hear. I was not ready. When we first started counseling, I just desperately needed my husband to understand what his actions have done to me. That was important because I needed him to be compassionate. I needed him to give me space to heal a little bit, and I needed to focus on my healing. I didn't have the energy in me to not only focus on my healing, but also do hard work on fixing past behaviors that need to be addressed. You know what I mean? We only have a certain amount of energy we can expend. And a counselor needs to know where you are. So if for some reason your counselor is trying to push you it's been like 4 weeks since you found out about the affair and suddenly we're in full, hey, let's fix you mode. No. Okay. If you're not ready for it, you just say, I am willing to take those steps in the future, but I'm not ready to do it right now. Counseling in a situation like this has got to start at the base, fundamental level of what has happened. Marriage counseling is about the husband understanding his role in hurting his wife. Okay, and again, I get it. I know women have affairs too, but this is a group called Wives Who Stay. So I'm addressing wives specifically. So husbands to understand what they've done wrong, and then a wife understanding that he gets me, he understands, he's doing his part, and I need to focus on my healing. How do I heal from this? So the counselor is helping the husband get a grip on the reality of the situation he has created, and then turning around and helping the wife figure out how to heal in the marriage. And see, that's what's so challenging that we're going through. That's why marriage counseling can be very helpful, is that we're not only trying to heal, but we're also trying to save a marriage. It's like we've got kind of a dual focus. But adding that layer to it of, hey, let's have you examine all of your behaviors before the affair and see what maybe you did wrong so you could do better. Okay, no. We're not ready for that yet. It's important that you tell your counselor what you're willing to do, what you're ready to do, and what you're not ready to do. Not that you're never willing to do it. Make sure you make that clear, but you're just not there yet. Reputable, quality counselors will understand this, okay? They will not push you where you're not ready to go. So it's important that you communicate that. So if you have a counselor who's pushing you, who's not listening to you, maybe you do have the wrong counselor. So number one, maybe you have the wrong counselor, okay? Make sure you find a reputable counselor that's good. And then number two, like I just said, speak up. To be honest. Say, that didn't fit well. And I'll give you an example from my own experience. We were sitting in marriage counseling, and my husband kept using terminology because I kept wanting commitment from him. I wanted him to tell me he was never going to do this again, to give me all these assurances. Well, he kept saying things like, well, I don't know the future. You're asking me to tell you I could get hit by a car tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. And it drove me nuts. And he would say these things in counseling. And I loved our counselor. And our counselor would nod his head and he'd go, that's actually true. Now, Monica, how do you feel about that? And I just said, all right, I get it. Okay, on the base level of what you're saying, you're totally correct. We have no control over the future as far as like the random things that are going to happen that are out of our control, right? Somebody could get hit by a bus. Who knows? I'm not asking him to tell me that we're not going to get hit by a bus. I'm asking him to commit to me that he does not intend to go out and have an affair. And this whole hogwash of, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? I'm not going to take it. And I said, what in the world are marriage vows for if we're going to have that kind of attitude? It's a commitment. Marriage vows mean something. And if they don't, why are we here? And I just got quiet and sat there. And my counselor just kind of sat there for a minute and looked at my husband and said, okay, I think she's spot on. What do you think about that? And of course, then my husband's like, well. But we had a really constructive conversation after that. But I spoke up. Our counselors are not there to tell us what to do. They're there to guide us through our healing process, help us to better understand ourselves, right? So that we can begin to move forward. Now, I'm a master certified coach, so my job as a coach is to take someone from that point. They get who they are, they recognize how they got where they are now, and now they're ready to move forward. So a coach is really good about helping you create goals and move forward in a positive way, okay? And to create healthy habits for a lifetime, not something that you just do temporarily, something that just becomes part of your DNA. So, anyway, counseling, speak up, speak your truth, okay? Say, if you disagree with something, say it. Now be logical about it. Just because you don't like what they're saying doesn't mean what they're saying is wrong. So, to answer the question, what should marriage counseling focus on? Well, it depends on where you are in your process. So like I've just been talking about, if you are early on, please remember this has got to be about how you heal, how you function for day to day, how you process the pain that's been caused by your husband's actions. And at the same time, that counselor needs to help your husband understand why you feel the way you feel. right? What happened? Why you're experiencing what you're experiencing? That his actions had consequences, and this is one of them. I mean, he really needs to have a deep understanding of that. So early on, you're kind of doing that foundational work. But later, marriage counseling can most certainly focus on how to have a healthier marriage on the other side, which will include us having to look at our behavior, our choices, our misconceptions, our mindset. All of that has to be included in that. So whether you work with a counselor as a couple or even if you work with a coach, that is number one priority moving forward. But if you're early on, right now, if you're lucky to just get up and brush your teeth in the morning, then marriage counseling needs to really be focused on those basic things, okay? So I'm not a big fan of the word should, by the way. I put that in the title and I went back and forth about it. I would almost say this is what marriage counseling needs to focus on. You know what I'm saying? So marriage counseling needs to be focused on where you are in this process. And if you have a counselor that's pushing you too fast and too far, then I would strongly suggest you either look for another counselor and or you speak up and say, I'm not ready for that yet. That's okay. Listen, that's okay. I've had clients who said to me, I'm not ready for that. So I literally have taken assignments off of clients when they told me, you know what, I just don't have the energy to work on boundaries right now. I'm like, okay, taking that off because it's not about me. It's about their journey and it's about them. So I encourage you to speak up, find a counselor that works right for you, but definitely seek help. It definitely does help to go to marriage counseling if you have the right counselor working with you, okay? I hope this has been helpful to you. I have a lot of other videos you can watch and some freebies below, so make sure you click on the links. And I am a master certified coach, and I love for you to subscribe to my channel, and especially that first link below is a free video I created with a lot of great tips and tools you might like as well. And in that video, it tells you how to get in contact with me if you're looking for a coach of your own. All right, take care, and remember, speak up, okay? Get that counselor that fits you and your husband perfectly.